Chatbots and voice assistants are one of the most important tools in today's and especially in tomorrow's world, but who are the people behind them, the conversation designers? Today, we're going to San Francisco, where there's a famous golden bridge, Golden Gate, and a golden opportunity to talk with a special guest, Brittany Neal, a conversation designer for Wix.com. How are you, Brittany?
I'm doing very well today. Thanks for asking, Eran. How are you?
I'm great. So what brought you to conversation design?
Ooh, I had a fun journey into conversation design. I would say it first started out when majoring in linguistics back at UC Santa Barbara. And then right at the very end, these things were still very new. And I first heard about NLP and took a computational linguistics course and heard about NLP and was just fascinated, that we were getting machines to speak and that we could, and machines to understand us. And it was just such a fascinating field that I knew I wanted to go deeper in. But left college, needed a job, got a PM job at a translations company, but still was like staying with language, still definitely loved language. And then continued on and actually joined a accelerated coding bootcamp because I wanted to go back to that NLP. I liked coding, wanted to get back into that sphere. So did an accelerated software engineering program called Hackbright, and then got my feet wet in that arena. Kind of that brought me into tech was what happened. And then from there, I finally landed on it. I got a job as an NLP software engineer at MyDia. And they were doing things like that with making computers understand us systems. So from there, I did that for a couple of years actually, and moved up, got a full status there. And then unfortunately, I started to kind of realize that my other talents weren't being quite tapped into with just strictly NLP work and research. I was working with a lot of really smart people there, a lot of PhDs, and was learning a lot, but I felt my communication skills and other aspects of that were going untapped, my writing skills. And so I started to look into technical writing actually, and kind of just went through just a whirlwind of trying different things out. And I was surfing on Reddit and found this free technical writing institute, and they had a free guinea pig program right when COVID started basically. And I had been doing a little conversation design at MyDia, but I hadn't thought of it as conversation design. And that was the fun part. So I wanted to dive more in there. So I took this, just happenstance, took this fun technical writing workshop and learned a lot more about that. But then once I found that conversation design itself was an actual sphere, an actual job I could do, and I could just meld all of these different skills together, I dove all in to researching exactly what it was, how, and it was still new. Conversation designer was not even a firm title yet. So, it's now, and it's still now, I think it's gaining a lot of traction, which is awesome, but we still see tons of wild titles because it does encompass a lot too. So it's hard to pin it down. But so from there, I just dove all in, and then got reached out to by a wonderful recruiter who wanted me to work at Wix, and Wix agreed. So I'm very happy here as a full conversation designer. But I just dove all into the research and joined these communities, and all of them just led me right to Wix.
Fun fact, in Hebrew, there's no Hebrew term for conversation designer. So I just approached the Israeli Academy of Language and asked them to have some kind of translation. So they told me, you're basically so little of a community, so small of a community, so just basically do whatever you want. What's the project or bot that you're most proud of so far?
I would probably say any project I'm working on at that moment is going to be what I'm most proud of, because I can take all my skills that I've learned and then, work on the new thing. So right now, the Wix chatbot, definitely, that's what I'm most proud of. It's, we're cultivating it, watching it grow, and it's just a very fun project to work on. It spans through a wide realm of different departments, and just helping so many different people is why I'm most proud of it too.
Yeah, so can you talk us a bit about your works at Wix nowadays and how you're contributing to the company's conversation design standards?
Yeah, so I was brought on as a full conversation designer. We're still a small team, but so we have the Wix chatbot, and just my day-to-day is building out conversations. It's a customer support bot. The Wix platform, for anybody who's not familiar, is a website building platform. We enable anybody from anywhere and any background to come in and build a website for themselves, just with drag and drop elements, make it simple to do. Even if you don't have any coding experience or any website building experience, anybody can do it. And so, but there is, with so many features of the bot, there's a lot to it. And so when the people using the platform need help, they can reach out to support. We have many human agents, but our way to connect them is through the chatbot. And so we'll get departments asking us, from all over the company, asking us for requests on just adding more to the chatbot to help people, give them more information so they don't have to, they can solve it on their own, which a lot of people like to do. And also just building out these flows. So, trying to, identifying what is the problem that somebody is having is a whole challenge in itself. So identifying that and then writing a conversational flow to try to solve that.
So can you talk about the challenge of building voice apps specifically? Because it's a subject that's close to your heart and to your ear, probably.
So that's stepping back a little bit, because so Wix's bot is strictly a chat bot. We're not looking at voice at this time. But I do love voice apps, because that was another thing that brought me into the conversation design sphere as well. Because so you asked me what projects I'm most proud of. So first is whatever I'm working on, which is the Wix chatbot. Second would probably be a project that I did at my DIA, where I actually was the voice of the bot. So I was working on an AC command bot. Basically, it wasn't a full on conversation, but it was, you just command, like, I almost said the A word, but you wake up your smart device and then you command it, but just strictly for AC. And then we were also moving on to microwaves and things, and it was all in beta. But so I got to be the voice of that system. So that was a lot of fun. You'd wake up the AC and ask it to do something, and then my voice would respond. So that was a lot of fun. And that kind of just like using my voice, which is not a requirement when building voice bots, but that really just got me into voice and looking more into voice and joining the voice community, which is hugely robust and very helpful for getting into conversation design as well, because all these smart, interesting people just want to chat about tech, want to chat about the voice community. So working on voice apps is a ton of fun, and it's shockingly different from chatbot conversation design too. It's very, very different. And so one thing that was cool too is the woman in voice community. When I first started delving into the voice realm, I was like, I have no idea where to start to build. I went onto Amazon's site. It was tricky. So I actually reached out through Women on Voice just to somebody I did not know at all, and just cold emailed her and asked her if she would be my mentor. And she said yes. And so she gave me some content on making a voice app, and this one's Teach Me Drums. And I haven't quite finished it, but she taught me about VoiceFlow, which is a wonderful product for building voice apps. And yeah, it just brought me into the realm. It's ton of fun.
Yeah, what I like about this community is there's so many mentors and people that can help you even with some specific task, and that's awesome. What's the most important thing for a chatbot or voice bot in your opinion?
So I've been thinking about this one a lot because there's just not one feature. These are such complex systems that you can't just pin on one thing. But I think the common thing, you can narrow it down. The thing you need to build is trust. So the one feature that you can add to a bot is just consistency, and that comes with having the important part of having a persona. You want the things that people are going to want to engage with. And that's, so number one, where everybody is sick and tired of stupid bots. You know, you say you have this problem, you come to it frustrated, and you just want it to solve your problem. And it can't understand you because it's a machine. And so that's why, it's pretty well established. We don't have general intelligence yet, which would be a limitless bot, not confined to a domain. At this point, you need a solid domain and to promote trust, because you need just to start small and grow from there. And because that's only if you can solve what's going on can you build that trust. But so all those things come together with, you need a consistency in voice and tone, and just have everything consistent, because that's what builds trust. And that also, helps, because conversation is about trust. We have like the cooperative principle, and so humans still are not ready to, our brains are still wired to, when you're talking to something, that we're thinking we're talking to humans. So when you break those principles of trust, it just gets people too frustrated. So I think it comes down to trust.
Both for chatbots and for regular people, by the way. What's the funniest thing or the most awkward thing that happened to you as a conversation designer so far?
So I think every conversation designer has just funny little stories of, arguing passionately about, like, should that be period or a colon, or, just tiny little things. But so we have Wix. We had a really talented writer write the new Wix bot persona. And so I was looking at the slides for this, and then I brought it up to my manager. So she was separate from the team. But so I was bringing up these slides to my manager, and because there was a few words we didn't really use anymore. One of them was, I was saying we use got it, and we can use gotcha. These are two things. And then there was another one where we say all right, and then on the slide deck it said all righty. And I thought, we don't really use all righty, and I'm a little bit, it's just one letter, but it's a totally different tone. It's a totally different voice. And I bring this up to my manager, and it was in the slide deck, and I was converting this into a conversation design book for Wix. And so I bring it up, and he's like, oh no, we are not using all righty. Like that's just too whimsical, too dorky for the bot. And then I'm racking my brain, and I'm like, oh my God, I use already all the time in my regular speech. And so I get off this meeting with my manager, and I at the end, I couldn't help it. This is how I sign off. I'm like, all righty, I'll see you later. And then we end the call, and I'm like, oh no, I'm dorky.
Just go and click Control H and replace all righty by something less dorky.
Just in my own brain, because I agreed with him. Like I would not put that in the Wix bot, but just I like the word alrighty, and I don't care what it makes me. I am going to continue to use it.
Not in the Wix spot, and not in the Wix spot in your
Yes.
So if somebody wants to be a conversation designer like you, to have an awesome job like you, what tips or advice can you give this person?
I would say just absolutely tap into the robust community that there is, and don't hesitate. For people, I think people know they want to be writers, they want to work on, let's say, chatbots, but that should not limit them from joining the voice community, where a lot of those conversations are happening and driving lots of really interesting conversations about conversation design, about the voice community, about chatbots. So all of this, and great book recommendations too. I think something that really leveled up my writing was The Guide to Microcopy by Eran. And that
She's a good friend, by the way.
Oh, that book definitely leveled up my writing. I would write. That's what I always recommend first off to anybody, because it's just such a fun book. And it's everything makes sense. And they actually even reference Wix in there too, so that's fun. She does. So so I love that book. But yeah, so I would just say tap into the community, and also realize that this space is still young. So like we were saying earlier, conversation designer is not confined to one set of skills. It's many skills and all into one. And if you don't have all of the skills, you can learn it. You can be taught. And it's going to depend on the company that you end up landing upon, what they need you for. You build a team, and so you might have one set of skills, and then your coworker might have another one. You fit together like puzzle pieces, and that's a team. So there's just dive right in and tap into the community, and know that there's a lot of different places that you can fit there.
I'm going to tell Kinneret that you recommended her book. She's going to love you. That's a small world. Like, I'm talking with somebody in San Francisco, which recommends a friend of mine from Israel. That's fun. Give us one forecast into the future of conversational AI, in your opinion.
So I think, I'm tapping back into the voice community here. I think voice is definitely the future of this realm. Definitely, once we can just speak to our systems, it's going to be such a game changer. And I think still not most voice applications are still recreational at this point, and that's just, I think more resources should be put into it now, because there's just so much. It's so lucrative. It can be so lucrative, and it can be a really profitable space. And everybody, once these systems level up and we start putting more resources so they can level up faster, I think it's going to be a very good thing for everybody involved. And then,
sorry.
Oh yeah, and then this is another thing, but I think I just have this feeling the current systems that we have, how NLP kind of just jumped when we, figured out some models. I think it's going to be that similar type of exponential growth of, we're going to figure out a new system. Like, we don't have any current solutions. We can't just make a better thing with the tools we have right now that's going to close that gap. I think there's going to be a major breakthrough, hopefully soon, and that is going to be what's going to bring us the gem. So that's my projection.
We all hope for that, because this will be making our profession much prevalent, I believe. All right, or righty, or maybe all right. I can say all righty here. We have
Join me.
Voice and taking turns. I'm just defying the rules here. All right. Brittany, Neal, thank you very much for this great conversation.
Thank you. Thanks, and thanks for everybody listening.
So for everybody watching or listening, check out CoCoHub.ai, where we bring chatbots to life, and where you can build your own voice apps or video bots or textual chatbots as well, easily and without any coding knowledge. So thank you for listening again. Take care, and bye-bye.